calling the police. Yeah, please.
Call them.
Please.
Call them right now.
Please, because that's a shame that you want to sit up here. Please get my best side. Let them know, the Lexus driver, your neighbor, who prays for you, who wishes nothing but the best for you.
Girl, you can't pray for me.
We cannot talk, sweetie. Every time we try to have an agreement or disagreement, you take it belligerently.
Girl, you done pulled guns on me. You done yelled at me. I got pictures that I done sent the police.
Please. And I want them to come in 333. I pray for
They can come here too.
I pray for your peace. I pray for your peace. That's why your husband left you. You have an evil
Girl, you ain't got no man. The way she was talking, she was like, your neighbor, the one that prays. She does not talk like that. She is ratchet and ghetto.
Out in the western suburbs of the metro Atlanta area, you would never know, but there is a war going on between two neighbors that just can't get along. Kelvin Jones and his husband at the time bought a townhome in this quiet Austell, Georgia neighborhood in February 2019. He says life was good for him, but after 8 months of living there, it all changed. In October of 2019, Kelvin got a new neighbor named Camil. Kelvin says he and Camil quickly became friends, but around the same time, Kelvin's marriage started to take a downward spiral. And when he asked his neighbor Camil to look out for a package that he was hiding from his husband, Kelvin says he and Camil's relationship as neighbors has never been the same.
Call the police!
Kelvin reached out to us by email and he wanted his story to be heard, so we sent out one of our reporters down to his home after he posted this video to social media of home arguing with his now estranged neighbor. He showed us around his house and gave us the full details of what has been going on for nearly 2 years. Welcome to a special edition of Who Got the Story? Love Thy Neighbor.
Let them know, the Lexus driver, your neighbor, who prays for you, who wishes nothing but the best for you.
Girl, you can't pray for me.
We cannot talk, sweetie. Every time we try to have an agreement or disagreement, you take it belligerently.
Girl, you done pulled guns on me. You done yelled at me.
I bought this house in February of 2019. She moved in October of 19. And roughly 2 months after she moved in, I started having issues with her. Because one, I was going through a divorce and my package went to the wrong address, which it went to one of the first packages that I ordered from Amazon, and it selected my location and my location pulled up. So when I was aware that the package was going to her house, I texted her and told her. But she never even had to see the package because I was waiting on the package. So when the package got there, I received it. And turn it down. So she basically felt like I was putting her in the middle of my marriage because I told her that it was a tracking device and I didn't want my husband to see it. So if she happened to get it, don't put it at my front door because I was sitting there waiting for it. So she took that as I was putting her in the middle of my marriage and putting her in the middle of something, and she stopped speaking to me, which was fine.
So the relationship was good before all of the...
Yeah, we was cool for about the first 2 months she was here.
Okay.
It wasn't she would, come by or whatever, or she would speak, or she would bring me a piece of cake or something like that. But then after that, it went to nothing. So...
He says the feud started in 2020 after the incident with the package. She reported him to the Homeowners Association 3 times back-to-back that year. And in 2021, she reported him 3 more times to the HOA. It was a total of 6 violations that he received at the hands of Camil. Claim 1, failing to keep his yard clean.
But I was cutting out a tree. And when the tree fell, it fell in my yard, but some of the limbs fell over and it was hanging over the fence. So I still had to get down off the wall and cut the tree down after I cut it down. She comes outside yelling and screaming at me. And I told her, I said, what do you think, I'm gonna leave it there? I have to get down and cut it. So she goes back in the house, and mind you, when she came out, she didn't have her wig on. She went back in the house, put her wig on, and got her gun. Now you're in the backyard, you're facing the wall, no one is that threat to you, but you come outside with your gun for me. So,
did anybody else see it? Any of the other neighbors?
No, but I took pictures.
He shared with us photos that he had taken of his neighbor in the backyard with a gun lying on a chair near her.
Just standing out there waiting on me to say something, and she had a gun sitting in her chair. She had it in her hand, and then when she sat it down, I took pictures of her back there in the backyard.
Wow.
But then, you know, about a month later, when I confronted her about it, because she said something to me in the backyard, and I told her, I said, you pulled a gun on me. Like, she was like, oh, it wasn't for you, it was for my safety because someone had been coming in my backyard.
How are the backyards set up?
You can't even get in her backyard. Her backyard is fenced in.
He showed us on his cameras how their backyards are set up.
So as you can see, there's another privacy fence on that side. So no one can get in my backyard. And no one can get in hers for her to need to be in her backyard with a gun. Because we're by a brick wall, and on her side, hers is fenced in on the other side and it's closed in. You can't get in my backyard from this way either because I have it blocked off. I'm not watching you, you're watching me, so. But now I can just watch my backyard. I don't have to worry about it. It'll give me a notification if she walks in my backyard and tries anything, so. It was like she wanted to start something. It's like, I know I have a gun too, so it was like I could have easily retaliated with an area and got my gun or something, but you know, I continued doing what I was doing. I let her, you know, sit out there and, you know, it was like she was just waiting on something. So I let her do what she had to do. I cut my tree up and kept going. And then week after that, I got a violation. Then maybe 2 months after that, I got another violation.
Claim 2, no leash on dog while walking in the neighborhood.
I was outside with my dogs sitting inside my garage, and they used to play with her. My oldest dog, Bella, you know, she used to pet her or whatever. So, of course, a dog's instinct, when she seen her, we was sitting in my garage just chilling, relaxing, and my dog starts to run over to her, you know, to pet her. Yeah. And she got to my sidewalk at my front door, and I stopped. I said, Bella, come back now. She turned around and came back. But in the process of her walking over there, her friend that was with her, she had to be about 300 pounds. She did a sumo dive on top of her hood like this dog was gonna kill her. And you can meet my dogs. None of my dogs are aggressive. My little chocolate doodle, he likes to hug you. And Bella, the mama, she's sweet as she can be. So she knew my dogs were a threat because she has interacted with my dogs.
Does she have any pets?
Mm-mm. But yet, I got a violation for my dog, walking my dogs in the neighborhood without a leash.
Is there any rules in the apartment complex that say you can't?
You have to have your dogs on a leash when you're walking them in the neighborhood, but I wasn't walking my dogs. My dogs were in my garage.
And claim 3, leaving trash can by the road for too long. Kelvin told us off camera that after the violations in 2020, there was a period of time where he stopped getting violations. And he saw Camil one day in their backyard. She tried to talk to him while offering him a piece of cake. She tried to explain herself and why she was acting the way she acted toward him. And he says that he told her, "You don't have to explain yourself to me," telling her that he thinks something is wrong with her. He also says that he refused to take the piece of cake she offered him because, and I quote, "I wasn't eating anything out of that nasty bitch house and she might have been trying to poison me." He says after he refused to talk to her that day, the harassment started back up again shortly after. He says that in January of this year, Camil called the police to his house while he was at work one day because his camera's motion sensor was going off.
You have entered a monitored area.
It tells you you've entered a monitored area, that you're being recorded. So when I first got the camera, I had it set as a siren. So it would go whenever somebody walked past it. So she came outside, got her trash can, it went off, and then she came back outside for something else and it went off again. And I'm at work, and I see my camera go off about 30 minutes after that, and I'm like, what's going on? And I click on my camera, and the police is walking back and forth up my driveway. So she called the police because she said she was concerned because the camera kept going off. And you can hear the police officer on the camera saying, "Ma'am, it's a motion camera. So it's only doing it when I walk by it." So the police officer walked by it, it went off, and then he walked back by it, it went off again. And he told her, "Ma'am, it's just a sensor." So I didn't really know why they called or why they was at my house. So I called 911, and it's open public record. So I'm like, there was a call to my house. I said, I need to know why that call was made. Oh, it was a report of loud noise, a siren, but it was closed out as no incident. So you knew it was a camera there. You know that camera was going off, and it only goes off when you walk by it, but yet you still called the police and had the police come to my house. You know, so that was just another thing. The police have been out here like 3 or 4 times just with her, you know, with incidents that she could do nothing about. And like they told her, it's the camera. There's nothing you can do about it. And it only goes off when you walk by it. So, yeah, she had a problem with that too.
Kelvin told us he had cameras installed all around his house, including the backyard, after he saw she had a camera facing his yard one day. He says he reported the camera to the HOA, but they told him they weren't going to get involved and they have to resolve it amongst one another. We looked at Kelvin's Facebook and saw that he posted complaining about his neighbor's camera on April 14, 2021, but she has since changed the positioning of the cameras.
So that was.
Do you think Camil and Kelvin will ever find a way to live in peace? If so, how do you think they can resolve their differences and stop fighting? Have you ever had a neighbor that you had beef with or just couldn't get along with? Comment below and let us know. Now, they say you're supposed to love thy neighbor, but do you love thy neighbor when the neighbor doesn't love thee? This was a special edition of Who Got the Story. Do you have a story that you want us to cover? If so, email us at whogotthestory@gmail.com.
Do you know where it stemmed from? Like where her animosity, hatred?
I think she's just crazy, and I think she's lonely, and I think she's probably jealous too. Because one, I've been having some 5 years ago. But I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know how much she watches me. I'm pretty sure she probably in that window. She probably listens, watches everything I do. I'm pretty sure. So, cause she's accused me of being a gay drug dealer. Like, I enjoy smoking, and it's my right. I'm in my home. She does it. So why are you trying to accuse me of being